This video details how I made the battery for the electric Corvette. It's quite a bit longer than the previous videos, so I'm going to break this into a few individual parts. I use existing videos that I created as I was working on the project and a few still photographs as well. As I did in the earlier electric Corvette videos, I start out with a cutaway of the Corvette rolling chassis. So in earlier videos, I've talked about the motor shown here in blue, the control system shown here in red, and now with this video, I want to start talking about the battery system shown in yellow, which actually consists of 4 individual modules, 2 in the front, 1 in the tunnel area, and 1 in the rear. The electric Corvette had 2 key enablers to really make this vehicle conversion work. One was how I packaged the motor directly to the rear differential. And quite frankly, by doing that, it freed up a lot of space to allow me to package more battery capacity. And as you'll see in this video, how I actually made the battery from salvaged Tesla cells was the second key enabler by giving me the flexibility and configuration to allow me to package a lot of capacity into a small area that you would see in a performance car like the Corvette. There were essentially 5 key steps to create the electric Corvette battery, as you'll see on the slide. The first step, salvaging the Tesla cells, is what I would call the most critical and where you need to be very cautious in doing this. Now, I did it because, quite frankly, it saved a lot of money. If you look at the cost of what a Tesla module would cost versus the equivalent individual cells that you would buy as Panasonic cells. The reason I did it was to save a lot of money, but also I do have experience in doing that. If you look at some of my earlier videos, it took a lot of time to go through this step, and what was key, I thought, was that after I salvaged all the cells, I ended up throwing some of the cells away, either from, actually during the process, the cells were already dead, which means they probably always were dead. And I didn't know if that was because of the cell or because of how it was wired in the module. But also just through the process, I had some fallout from maybe just from damage from me working on them and so on. But after sitting idle for a few months, I would dispose of the cells that did not hold their charge. I still was able to salvage a sufficient amount of cells to make my battery. The next steps, 2 through 5, actually went much quicker compared to the first step. And you'll see how I went through these steps as you watch the videos and some slides that I will show after the videos. So here are a few pictures and videos on how I went about salvaging the Tesla cells. The process starts with the raw Tesla modules. I received 16 of them with fairly low mileage. The seller indicated that they were salvaged from a Tesla vehicle with around 30,000 miles on it.
What I'd like to demonstrate today is part of my step 3 or stage 3 of the electric Corvette project. As I indicated in my earlier videos, step 1 is the motor, and the motor is essentially completed, ready for installation. Step 2 is the control system, nearly completed. The only fine-tuning I want to do is actually the mechanisms that are inside the car that the person will interface with to control the Corvette. So step 3 is the batteries for the project. And there's really two steps to the battery project. The beginning step, the first step, is to salvage the individual lithium-ion 18650 cells that go into my batteries. These are the same cells. These are out of a Tesla Model S. So what I do is I'm salvaging all of these individual cells from the Tesla. And I'm going to demonstrate how I do that, because literally I'm down to my last cell. So I thought this would be a good time to videotape not only what I'm doing with these cells, but how I actually do it. So for my project, the objective is to have 96 what I call bricks. Each brick will hold 72 cells. So 96 bricks with 72 cells each is 6,912 cells. I'm basically finishing my last one with this video. For comparison purposes, a Tesla, and by the way, the total voltage, if I do that, is 403.2 volts, same as a Tesla Model S. Now, packaging may be an issue, and I'm still working on it. If I can't get 96 bricks, I'll go for 84, and that'll give me just over 350 volts. And if I go to 72 bricks, that'll give me just over 300 volts. Now, so for comparison, a Tesla Model S also has 96 bricks. They do it with 16 modules that are about 1 foot by 2 foot. Each module has 6 bricks. So theirs is 6 times 16, so that generates your 96 bricks, and therefore the same voltage, 403.2 volts. So with that, I'll pause the video and I'll get set up to finish one of the batteries. Okay, what I'd like to do next here with the process of salvaging Tesla batteries is actually demonstrate what I do. So I'll break it into 2 parts. The first part is I take a module and I break it apart. A standard Tesla 85D module has 74 of these lithium-ion cells in them. And they're encapsulated in aluminum for the current flow, and then plastic underneath those pieces of aluminum. And so I need to tear the aluminum off, break apart the batteries from the plastic encapsulation. And then what I do is I stack all those batteries here. So like I said, each module will have 444 cells. And then the next step is to get rid of that plastic encapsulation. The first step takes me about 4 hours to salvage the cells out of the module. And then I can create 6 bricks from those 444 batteries. And each brick takes me, I don't know, it takes about 4 hours to do each brick through the day. So I usually take a few days to create the finished product from each module. So let me just demonstrate. I have 1 battery left that I'll show. So I put ear protection in. Put a face mask on. About a plastic powder is generated from this process. Safety glasses, and I wear gloves. Okay, so you saw how I actually salvaged an individual cell. So what you just saw was the completion of all my salvaging, and I'm ready to actually start building the batteries. And the way I do that is I'm putting together my own bricks, my own configuration, if you will, 3 by 24, which gives me 72 cells per brick versus a Tesla that's 74, so very close. And I use these plastic, I call them Lego pieces, quite frankly, that allows you to organize the batteries whatever form you want to. In my case, as I indicated, 3 by 24, and you just put these in place, top and bottom, and that creates a brick. And I have been storing these ready to create my batteries. Now, that's one configuration. I'm actually also doing another configuration, which is 8 by 9. Again, 72 cells. So it'll be, as far as the electronics of the system, it'll be similar. And these bricks will actually go through the tunnel of the Corvette, so I can package them and use up a lot of the available space that if you just use the raw Tesla modules, you can't do that. So this gives me a lot of flexibility in packaging the lithium-ion cells in the Corvette. So this configuration in the tunnel, the 3 by 24 configuration up front in the engine compartment.
So for comparison purposes, on the right is the original Tesla module that has 6 bricks for a total of 444 cells. On the left is essentially my module equivalent, also 6 bricks. Each brick is 3 cells by 24. So the total of each brick is 72. The total of the pack is 432. So my equivalent is 432 cells versus the Tesla 444 cells. From a dimensional standpoint, mine's slightly smaller, but consider them essentially the same size.